The prosecutor's office special investigative unit in charge of probing the Choi Soon-sil scandal has now begun to look into a private meeting between President Park and the nation's conglomerate chiefs last year. The goal of the investigation is to find out whether the president played a possible role in pressuring the business leaders to fund two foundations that were allegedly controlled by the president's longtime confidant, Choi Soon-sil. Park Ji-won has more.
The prosecution began to touch on the issue of how two newly formed foundations, the Mir and K-Sports foundations, could garner tens of thousands of US dollars in donations from the nation's conglomerates in mere months since their establishments. On Monday, prosecutors summoned two key officials of the Federation of Korean Industries, a representative lobbying group for the nation's businesses, to question them on a closed-door meeting between President Park Geun-hye and several conglomerate leaders that took place last year. President Park held an open lunch with 17 business leaders at the president's office of Cheongwade on July 24, 2015. And according to former senior presidential secretary An Jong-bum, who's now under custody, President Park asked them to support the funding of the two foundations. An also said the President Park held separate one-on-one meetings with 7 heads of major companies, including Samsung Electronics Vice Chairman Lee Jae-yong, Hyundai Motor Group Chairman Jung Mong-gu, and LG Group Chairman Koo Bong-moo, which lasted until the following day. However, during her public apology last week, President Park said the conglomerates voluntarily contributed funds for the foundations. The prosecution's special investigative unit soon plans, if necessary, to summon employees or heads of the 7 conglomerates, as well as employees from 53 companies that also provided funds for the two foundations. Prosecutors are also questioning former Presidential Secretary Chung Ho-sung, who's been formally detained over allegations that he regularly delivered confidential presidential documents to Choi Soon-sil. Prosecutors secured 2 of Chung's cell phones, which reportedly contain several recordings of phone conversations with Choi Soon-sil and with President Park Geun-hye. Meanwhile, on the 8th day of investigation, Choi Soon-sil is still reportedly denying most allegations against her and keeping her mouth shut. Park Ji-won, Arirang News.